Attention business owners, this is your captain speaking. Fasten your seatbelts as we prepare your business to take off. Hi, I'm Joe, your captain of online reviews. Give me a thumbs up if your reputation is important to your business success. Excellent, thank you, and welcome on board. Today, online reviews tell your prospects about the quality of services that you provide. As a matter of fact, online reviews are the new word-of-mouth advertising, so if you don't have a flight plan in place to get 5-star reviews, your reputation could be hijacked by one bad review, crashing your business. So what we do is we put you in the cockpit with our automation called Give Me a Thumbs Up. Our technology can actually predict whether your clients will write a good review or a bad review before we even ask them. So if you'd like to learn more about this technology, book your flight with Captain Joe today so that tomorrow you can sit back, relax, and watch your 5-star business take off.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here?
God, I love that song. Every time I play it, I'm like going, I want to listen to that. I want to listen to the whole thing. But I got a show going on, so I can't listen to the whole thing because I've only got that one little part cut up. Darren Roberson, one of my dearest friends, one of my very best friends in the world, talented musician. And if you hire him through us, you get to donate to causes. So just remember that. He's been in Sturgis. He's been other places. You know what? You want to take and learn more about him, give us a call, 970-909-0751, 970-909-0751. And we'll talk about it. No matter where you're at, you want to help us get him there. He wants to come and play. Again, look, if you're into acoustic guitar, a little bit of country, a little bit of soul, a little bit of rock and roll, he is your guy. I have never heard anybody say anything bad about him. And I'm not just saying that because he's a friend of mine. I'm saying that because it's true. Hey, we've got some great news. It's only taken me forever to do this, but Community Pay It Forward / Footprints Forward is now live. You just go to Community Pay It Forward, and as you can see right here, you got Footprints Forward tab. Just click on that, and it'll bring you here. Remember, Footprints Forward is our mission to provide resources and sharing stories to support the mental health and suicide prevention in a forward direction. You can scan the QR code right there, and when you do that, you can come and tell us your story or tell us about what you do to try to help people with their mental health issues, or tell us your story if you struggled sometime and what you did to get over it. Or maybe you've had a loss and you want to let people know. That QR code that's pulsating right now is going to be your best friend, because if you get on there, you can tell us your story. You can come on to a future episode and you can let us know what's going on. You scroll down just a little bit. Right here is going to be the latest issue and episode. Sorry, not issue. This was Sarah Kuoku out of Grand Junction, Colorado. And she is with unzipthosejeans.com. Unzipthosejeans.com. Get your mind out of the gutter. They're talking about genetics here. Come on. I know. I thought my mind went straight to the gutter. The thing about her is she was saying so much. And we had so much going on last week. And there are so many people who have wanted to talk and wanted to hear more about her. We're going to bring her on again this week. And we're going to talk to her again. I know that the goddess of the grapes, Stephanie, she has a lot of interest in the nutrition field because of her children's diagnosis of pandas. You keep scrolling down on this page, you get to see all of my great family members who are a part of what we're doing here. From the Price of Freedom to Obsidian Assistance, Auxilia, Donor Management, Z-World Webs, the Web Detective, Trevor Gibbs, Utility Build Pro, Tommy Bop. There's some goofy Community Pay It Forward, the Youth Initiative from Patrick Myers, and of course, Stephanie Simoes, One Hope Wines. And then, of course, you see down here below my great sponsors with Things Network, who we simulcast on, to Auxilia. You have Z-World Webs again, of course, O'Sullivan Law Firm, and Ryder Justice, and coming up, and a gentleman that we're going to be talking to, Mr. Les Simpson. He is a huge portion keeping this program on the air. Again, we're talking about suicide. Scroll down a little bit further and you can watch from show 1 all the way to last week's show. And right here, we're already set up for next week's show, okay? Following this week, and so we're talking about a week and a half from now, we have a veterinarian that is coming on. She wrote a wonderful, wonderful blog. It was heart-wrenching. And it was heart-wrenching because it brought up the fact that when it comes to veterinarians, their job a lot of time is to take something very important to you and peacefully put it down. And when I took in my Brody, I didn't think about how that made a veterinarian feel. I thought about myself, that I was losing my dog. Suicide rates for veterinarians are skyrocketing right now because they get treated like garbage. A week and a half from now, I would love to invite you to come in and talk to Courtney and find out more. Footprints Forward happens every Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, and it can only happen with my sponsors and help us get the stand-up centers up and running. So we're working real hard to make sure that if people need something, we can get it to them. One of the people who's helping me do this is my very, very special guest, great friend. You see, he comes and joins us every second Wednesday at this time, Mr. Les Simpson. How you doing, Les? Oh, you're on mute.
There we go.
Yeah.
That might help. Yeah, that's quite a story. I had never thought about with veterans, having to put down all the animals.
You know, Les, one of the stories that she tells in this wonderful piece of hers was about a elderly gentleman who came in with a dog, and he said, "This is the last thing I have left of my wife, was this dog," and the wife had passed. And so, you know, that was one of those things that it really did. It was so heartbreaking, because I remember feeling my pain when I went to go put my dog down. I remember my pain. I never thought about the pain that a professional has, and that a professional has to deal with every time that they do that. So I'm really looking forward. I've talked to her a little bit previously, and got people to know, and I'm looking forward to talking to her a lot more and hearing other people hear her story. So Les, you got some interesting stuff for us today?
Yes, I sure do. I want everybody here to think about a couple things before we get started. Young couples have a lot of bills, and
old
especially
couples too.
Yeah, especially when they have babies, and there's a lot of expenses. And if you were able, for $25, to be able to have them see a new banking system that could double their buying power, and just for $25, by transferring it to another bank. Now, to explain that, first off, we work with the small community banks. There was 20,000 small community banks only 10 years ago. Now there's only 4,500. And the big banks are putting them under, and they offer things that big banks, or the big banks offer things they can't. Well, the new banking system that I'm going to be talking to you about is designed to help everybody double their buying power, and at the same time move millions of dollars to the community banks. And so if you like your local community bank, you're going to be able to help them just by transferring your money to a community bank with a Visa debit card. And now I'm going to go into explain what it's all about. And again, for a person, this is only a $25 membership. But I'm also looking tonight for leaders that really want to get this word out, leaders that have connections to restaurants, to retailers. And the big one is companies that want to help their employees without raising any wages, just $25. And they can do all this for $495. And that's what we're going to get into. So I'm going to open up my PowerPoint here and share it and explain what I'm talking about.
Sounds great. And then we're going to do something a little bit different today, folks. We're going to go on ahead, and here in about 20 minutes or so, we're going to play a video. And you're going to meet the inventors of this program, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And then Les and I are going to come back on and join you, and we'll be here to answer any questions if you have any, or we're going to be here to explain it, because I know I'll have questions. So, yeah, if you just want to go on ahead and share your screen, Les, we'll get going.
Do you see it?
I do not yet.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to share it. That might help. Present. That's the problem. Share screen. And share screen. Okay, let's see here. Where is it? Window. There we go. Now do you see it?
Now I see it.
Aha.
All right, and what I'm going to do, Les, is I'm going to take us off the screen and let your screen take over. How does that sound? They can still hear you, but we're going to do it this way.
You bet. Sounds good. Okay, now first off, it's called Tranzact Card. And if you'll look at this cell phone, look at those prices. You're going to be able to get items much less. And we're going to get into that big time. But this is where I want you to really think about people that you know that really need a hands up on increasing their buying power. It might be you. It might be a daughter. It might be a granddaughter. Or you might want, when I show you some of the things here you're going to be able to buy, it very well could be you if you want a new RV or, well, we'll get into it here. First off, anybody with the new digital office, that's what we call the bank, a business owner, a booster club, a nonprofit, influencers, digital branch off specialists. These are the ones that I'm wanting to talk to tonight about being leaders, bringing this into your business, especially if you have employees. And you're going to be able to help all your employees increase their buying power without having to give them a raise. And they'll love you for it. And I'm going to go into more detail on that. Now, these are the top 10 benefits for the business owner, or what we call the digital bank office. First off, you get to be your own bank. And what I mean by that is you're going to be able to, every time this card is swiped, it's a Visa card, you're going to be able to enjoy 10 basis points of all your employees, all their friends, everybody. And so it's a complete second business. New monthly revenues, same. Future retirement earnings, I'm going to go into that, how that happens, because we have a large group of businesses that you're already familiar with, Amazon, Walmart, Target, and many others, that every time you buy from them, their money is going to be put into a savings account for you with interest. Enhanced employee benefits, as I mentioned. New customer rewards. You're going to be able to offer customers what we call Z-Bucks, so they will be able to buy things at discounts. And if you're a restaurant owner, you already have many charities that come into you and ask if you could help them by asking at the register if you'll help them. Well, now you'll be able to help all charities by signing them up for this card, and all of their members, they can sign up with the card and get paid 10 basis points. And folks, this is a Visa card. Anywhere in the world, every time they swipe it, that charity is going to get paid. In fact, one of the big ones that we have going right now, if you have a church and the pastor does not have a retirement account, but now the pastor can sign up for this, sign up the assistant pastors, and then sign up the church. And all the members give to the church, and the assistant pastors and the pastors get paid. So we're going to have many churches at this point are signing people up because now they have a retirement program for your pastor. So if you have a favorite pastor, think about him. Advertising bonus, we're going to get into that. We're even going to show you how to advertise your new business. Expense optimization, because you're going to be able to get things for your business at a much less cost. First mover advantage. If you're the first in the area to take this on, then you're also going to be able to sign up other businesses, and they're going to hear about you, and they're going to want to do it for their clients. And low risk, high reward. And this is what it looks like. As you can see, it is FDI insured checking account in the community banks. And so you're doing exactly what you're doing now. The difference is you're moving your money to a small community bank, and every time you swipe it, you get rewarded. It's called Z-Bucks. And what I mean by that, every time you swipe, you spend $1, we give you the first year, we give you 2 Z-Bucks to go to pay for other things, which we'll get into. And so every time that you swipe your card, you're going to get a text saying, congratulations, you spent $30. Now you got $70 for Z-Bucks. And we'll show you what that means. Now, I think everybody will notice a few of these brands. These are the ones that are under contract that are going to be providing their products at a price the same as retail, but when you add in Z-Bucks, you're going to be able to get them at tremendous discounts. Look at some of these brands. If you're Samsung, if you're a sports person, Spalding, Wilson, Coleman, if you're a camper, the Asics, the shoes, all these different ones. Carnival, yes, we're going to have cruises. Adidas, Gucci.
Yeah, I know as a motorcyclist, I see GoPro, and I know that those are very popular right now with as many of us bikers who have been run off the road. And I'm a huge fan of golf, and I see TaylorMade up there as well.
Yep. And so every product, and this is just a start. By the way, this is going to open full blast in November. And we expect to have over 1 million products that, and see the companies, the reason they're doing this, they don't have to advertise. They have a captured audience just to put it out there, and we're going to bring all their customers to us. So they're going to give wholesale prices, but through the Z-Bucks. And so, yeah, it's going to be a completely different way to bank. And just to give you an example, you buy a $100 pair of shoes. You get those $100 shoes for $50 cash and $50 Z-Bucks. You want a camper trailer that costs $75,000. You're going to be able to use 25,000 Z-Bucks and 50,000 cash. And so this is real stuff, folks. And when I was talking earlier, if you have a granddaughter or a daughter that is children right now, I don't know if you know it. I mean, I'm 68. One of the things that when we were young and so forth, $20 diapers killed us. Think about those families now with $53 diapers. But with Z-Bucks, we can bring that to $21 in cash. And so this is real stuff. So I want you to think about who could use it. It's only $25 to be a member. Just transfer their money to the community banks. And if you want to be the one that gets the word out, it's only $4.95. You become a digital banking officer. And this is a good example, for instance, here. This is real stuff that we've had on our Z Club. You buy a laptop, and the regular price is $1,100 with the Z-Bucks and so forth. It brings it down, or $2,200, I believe it was. No, retail $1,100. And this was actually a flash sale. Let me come back. There are going to be different ones that the companies put up, and they basically are a loss leader. They want people to get to know them, so they'll put up so many. And it's going to be free to you with Z-Bucks. In fact, to give you an idea, we're going to have cruises. Maybe a cruise going out has 3,000 passengers. They put 200 in here in Z-Bucks. And so you're going to be able to take your family on a cruise just with Z-Bucks. And remember, every time you get gas for $70, you get $140 Z-Bucks. You go to a restaurant and you pay $150, you get $300 in Z-Bucks. This is real, and it's going to be happening now. And so again, think about the families that could deserve this. And if you want to be one of our leaders. It's only $495. And all of it is on the website 3waystobanking.com. And here's what we were talking about. We are going to have cruises. And some of them, like this cruise line, they might have 200 of the 3,000 people that they want to have as a lost leader and to get to know that cruise line. And so they're going to provide it as Z-Bucks only. Can you imagine taking your family on a cruise just by what you spent in the gas station, the restaurant, taking golf lessons, whatever, wherever you swipe the card, you get Z-Bucks. And we even go further. Power Save account. I'm going to show you a whole group of retailers that have signed up. Every time you buy something from them, they're going to give you cash into a savings account. And again, it's because they have you, they don't need the advertising budget anymore. And so you get cash. And then also when you use the Z-Bucks, you also get 1% of the Z-Bucks back into your savings account. So if you've never always wondered how you're going to be able to save, we've solved that problem too. And it will have compounded growth. It will be an interest-bearing account. Here's look at these names. I mean, look at this. Chico's, Home Depot, Target, CV's, Petco, Ulta, Starbucks. All of these have signed up that if you buy their products, you're going to get cash in your savings account. Just think about this. $25, folks. You can sign up tonight and transfer your money and start taking advantage of some of this. But most of this, again, all this Sam's Club, Adidas, Lowe's, all of this is going to be November. And the other thing is, if you know a nonprofit that really needs help, we can sign in November, we can sign up that nonprofit. And now they can have all their members have the card and they're going to get 10 basis points. So we have nonprofits that are not going to need funding anymore. If you know a school that's trying to get money for the basketball team, sign them up. And all the parents in that booster club use the card and go door to door. And for $25, sign people up. And $25, folks. And I've always been saying it over and over. The cost of membership is $25. And that includes all the banking platform benefits. And by the way, as soon as you sign up, you get 500 Z-Bucks. And when you tell other people about it and they sign up, you get 500 more Z-Bucks. So if you tell 10 people a month, you got 5,000 Z-Bucks. Think what you can buy with that. And this is where it really gets interesting, because we're looking for companies that really want to help their employees without having to take it out of their bank, but double their buying power. And by the way, the company does too. If the company right now is spending $50,000, then they'll have 100,000 in Z-Bucks, and they could take part of that and give it to their employees for contests and so forth. And because it's like a coupon, there's no tax for the company. Loyalty programs, community fundraising, and we're going to teach you how to do that. You'll be able to bring in nonprofits and so forth and get them to know your business. So we really want leaders to get these words out. And again, you become your own bank, employee benefits, customer rewards, fundraising. All three generate new revenue for that business. And advertising bonus. We'll also, like for instance, we have a restaurant chain that has 27 restaurants. Every month they use the card. We give them 1,000 Z-Bucks to, so that'll be 27,000 Z-Bucks a month that they get to use toward advertising, and we'll have digital advertisers and so forth to help them. This. When you watch this Meet the Founders, you'll understand this. The person that's in charge of this has been in banking 40 years. In fact, he's the president of the Bankers Association of Community Banks. And the other gentleman you're going to meet has been in product wholesale and distribution for 30 years. So these people know what they're doing. And so with our community banking program, you receive free access to the largest product placement network. All social and digital signage program that we'll have for the, and this is what it said, earn up to 1,000 Z-Bucks per each member of the placement network. You have 10 restaurants, you get 10,000 Z-Bucks to buy advertising every month. And this is kind of a summary of it: product placement, employee benefits, community fundraising, digital signage or code campaigns for loop players. If you know what that is in your business, we'll be playing a loop on like a laptop so your customers can see it. On restaurants, there'll be a placard here. So as everybody's enjoying their meal, it's going to say, if you want 15% off your meal, sign up for the Tranzact Card. So we've really got it there. And again, we're looking for leaders to get this out. Meet and greets, charitable partnerships. Can you imagine your the favorite charity in the area? You bring them in and show everybody how they can get funding. VIP events, holiday events, all of this. And you're going to be able to offer them the funding they need. And now this gives you an example when you are a digital bank owner, which is an employer or somebody setting up a restaurant. And the restaurant gets this too. You set up the restaurant for $4.95. And so they have these 4 customers. And this person here is a household spend. She's a member, and her monthly is $1,500. So this is the commission, 15 basis points. And this one here is a household spend is Aunt B. She's retired. She only has $1,000 a month that she's spending. So $150. And Rosemary here, this guy is professional. And so he's spending $3,500 a month. And this guy here is $2,500. So this comes down to, she's going to get $1,025 per month. Now that's total commission. Now multiply that by 100 employees or 200 employees or a restaurant. And again, every time they come in, they sign up for the card. And so then they tell their friends about it. Can you see how quickly this can end up into many thousands a month? And this, unfortunately, is tiny. You can't read it too well. But to give you an idea, who's already signed on for this? Well, for instance, the American Cancer Society, Lung and Heart Association.
Well, I see St. Jude Children's Hospital,
Yep.
Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Salvation Army, Make-A-Wish Foundation, American Heart Association. Then you've also got things like Navy League Foundation, Air Force Association, National Community Development Association. So yeah, there's quite a few on there. Job Creators Network.
Yep. And the United States Chamber of Commerce, the National Association of Restaurants, they've all signed on to this. This is going to be huge. But again, we want leaders to help us get this word out. $4.95 if you know a church that needs their pastor, if you know a restaurant, if you're part of an association, you're going to be able to get them fundraising. And again, I've said it all the way through, it's only $4.95. And then plus you pay 1% back of all your income as a performance-based fee. And that is by law, anything like this. We're going to be making it into a franchise. by November. And and the other thing is, once you have 3 franchise partnerships, you've paid the $495, we're going to give you a $500 rebate. And so after you have 3 franchise that you set up, a restaurant, an employer, whatever, you get all your money back. And there's 30-day money back guarantee. And during the first 90 days, you're going to receive 3,000 Z-Bucks. We're taking care of our people. We just want leaders. And this is the timeline. Soft launch is happening now, and getting all of the leaders, getting things going, setting people up. All the people that I mentioned to you tonight, we have leaders that have gone out and set them up. Pre-launch is happening, and the big official launch is 11/11. Now, right now, we can't set up nonprofits until November, but what we can do is set up the nonprofit owner. And so when the 11th November comes around, they can set up their own nonprofit, and nonprofits will be free. No $495. It'll be free. They will need to have at least 25 members sign up at $25, but theirs is free. And so again, the top benefits is be your own bank, new monthly revenues, the future retirement earnings, enhanced employee benefits, new customer rewards, advertising bonus. We're even going to help you do much better. Expense optimization, low risk, high reward. And the next steps, go to three ways to banking. And we can sign you up on a DBO. Or at least go there and sign up $25 for a membership. Transfer some of your money to the community banks and start earning Z-Bucks. And then when November comes around, you might have 10 or 15,000 Z-Bucks to buy what's there. But the interesting thing is tax time. A friend of mine just spent $10,000 paying the government, and so she's going to have 20,000 Z-Bucks just from that bill. Pretty neat stuff. So let's go change the world one swipe at a time. And first off, if there's any questions, or we will watch the video on the founders, and you can find out who they are.
Yeah, we don't have any questions yet, but I will make sure that I will pass them along when we get back. This video is a little lengthy. It's about an hour long, but as soon as it's 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 11 seconds. But when we come back, Les will be joining us. So please, if you have any questions, write them down. And then all you have to do is chat with us when we get back, and you can learn a lot more about the Tranzact Card. And this coming up is a video with the founders right after this. And Les, I'll see you in about an hour, buddy.
Sounds good.
Have you ever wanted to hide? You want to help, but you have to take care of your family first. Maybe this next paycheck I can support causes I love. Tell me, how does this sound? You shop, click a picture of a receipt, and pick someone you support while shopping for your family. Well, check out communitypayitforward.us. Hover your mouse here. Click on the Verified Given Partner button and shop with any partner that will satisfy your needs. Grab the receipt, because every time you shop, a Community Pay It Forward mission partner receives anywhere from 80 to 90% of a referral. You can find the mission partners by going right here. Each mission has a QR code so you can upload your receipt. And that's it. Shop, click, and pick. Join the program. You shop with small businesses and support great people. Great people who need a little help, or help to support the great people doing great things. Because with Community Pay It Forward, you don't have to hide anymore. Community Pay It Forward knows every small business is essential.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being with us this morning as we discuss this extraordinary opportunity that we have before us with Tranzact Card. We have more people logging on. I'll keep letting them in as they show up. But we're very encouraged and intrigued by this opportunity. I'm Patrick Lang. If you don't know me, we are here today with one of the founders of Tranzact Card, Richard, and your last name is Smith, correct?
That's right,
Smith.
Patrick.
So,
Yes.
just want to make sure I got that right. I think most of the people on the call here have either been invited by myself or my partners, or have invited others to be here. But I'm the founder and CEO of Certainty Management. We're a consulting firm in Henderson, Nevada. We help our clients to improve their profitability. We do this in a number of different ways, through cost reduction, through tax credit recovery, low cost benefits for small businesses, et cetera, et cetera. When we saw Tranzact Card, it made a lot of sense to us, because it's one more way to help our clients put money back in their pockets and to bless themselves and their customers and their networks. And so we were very intrigued. There's been programs similar to this in ways in the past. And so we're interested to hear, Richard, why this is different and what sets this apart from all the others. As I said, we're very intrigued by what we're seeing. We're excited to see the kickoff coming up later in May 19th and 20th in Park City. If you all are listening and you haven't reserved a seat, curious to know how many seats are left, Richard. So if there are any left, you may have to get a bigger venue if
There's a few left.
with the interest we're getting. But I know several of us are planning to be there and so forth. But just 10,000 foot view, guys. Tranzact Card is an opportunity for you to benefit from virtually everything you spend currently on a debit or on your debit Visa card or Visa debit card, your gasoline, your groceries, your travel, entertainment, etc. Rather than it all going to First Data or someone like that, the merchant processing company or the big banks, it's a way for us to put some of those dollars back in our pocket. And we're going to explain today how that works and how it can benefit you and those you care about. Are you going to do a presentation this morning, Richard? Or are we here just to do Q&A?
I'm going to do the 40-foot level view and then kind of take you through why we did this, and then just answer some questions is what I thought I'd do. Okay. So the PowerPoint presentations are done on Thursday nights and Tuesday nights at 7:00 Mountain Standard Time at transactcard.live. And they're very brief. They're to the point. They're about 20 minutes long, including testimonials. So if you want to go there and get that would probably be the best way to get an overall presentation. But I'm going to hit all the highlights on this, Patrick, as we talk.
That'd be great. I think most of us have seen a presentation yet. Some of us maybe not. I think everyone on the call has probably been to the website. If you haven't yet, I encourage you to go to www.certaintyvisa.com. You can see a link to our site and learn a little bit about that. Hold off on doing that until after the call if you can. Let's give Richard our attention and stay on mute if you can, unless you have a question. So I'll turn the time over to you, Richard. I'm going to mute myself. And
wonderful.
We'll go from there. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Patrick, it's wonderful to be on. I'm hoping that Peter will show up here quickly so you'll get both of the co-founders. A lot of people call us the owners of the. Hey, Peter is here. Hello, Peter. How are you?
Hey, hello, everyone.
Welcome, Peter. Thanks for being here.
Yep, glad to be with this group. Thank you. But
So very
Richard,
quickly,
you go ahead.
Yep, I'll start, Peter, and then you can follow up. So Tranzact Card was created by the minds of a host of people, with Peter and I as the co-founders. Peter is the instigator and the creator and the person that put together everything on the banking side of things. I put everything together on the e-commerce side of things. We took both our worlds and collided them together and created an ecosystem in the banking industry that we believe will set the world on fire if we're allowed to continue to do what we're doing. I know that will take place because we do it one of two ways. Number one, we bring a value proposition to the card user, the person that just wants something more out of their banking structure than they currently have. And we call that FinMo banking or financial momentum banking. We didn't term that terminology. The Association of Bankers did. It's actually on our website. So when you see the evolution of banks and read about FinMo banking, you can click right on that association and see what they're all about. But we feel very proud and very honored to service who we're servicing. Most banks service big clients. Governments, they love giving loans to governments, federal, state, local governments, and they also like to give loans to big Fortune 500 companies. There's very few banking institutions that are really focused on the natural person, the individual, and their family, and that's really where we fall in. We want to service everybody that has to deal with banking whatsoever, and we do that in a very unique way. With our ZBuck and our ZBuck program. Everybody's seen card programs. There's points and frequent flyer miles and cash back, and they're all over the place. And a lot of them are smoke and mirrors, or you have to have a quantum computer to figure out how to get your frequent flyers and convert them over to an actual flight. And we wanted to create something simple, direct, and profound for a family so that they can actually stretch their dollars a whole lot further than they ever imagined they could. And that's what we've done with the Tranzact card. This little green card has some components to it that are second to none when it comes to a bank card. This is not a credit card. This is a bank account. This is a debit card vehicle that directly corresponds with a bank account. That bank account is fully FDIC insured, and we're very, very, very secure in all the things that we do with our online banking portal and how we put people through KYC to make sure that the utmost protection around your money is done. But where we really shine is every time you present this card, anywhere you present a debit card, paying your light bills, paying your Wi-Fi, putting gas in your vehicles, or even shopping at Costco or anywhere else that you shop that the Visa logo is accepted. Every time you swipe this card, you get a dollar for dollar ZBuck that we issue to you. So for every dollar you spend, we issue out a ZBuck. That ZBuck can be redeemed inside of our e-commerce site called the Z Club, much like a Costco membership or a Sam's Club membership or even a Prime membership. We just think we have a better value proposition than any of those big box stores or Amazon, the behemoth or the giant monkey in the room. So we're bringing on thousands and thousands of products that you'll want to redeem your ZBucks on. And we do it in one of three ways. One, we have a dual spend. So right now, diapers, I was blown away when I found out, when I started putting this together with Peter, I started finding out what Huggies and Loves go for. A lot of us are older now and our grandkids are in diapers and not our kids. But boy, it's a heartburn for our children to have to buy $54 for a box of diapers. I remember complaining about it when I was young. Being $20 a box. And now that they're $54 a box, that's a big burden on families. We'll be able to sell the same type of diaper coming from the same manufacturer. We might have our own Kirtland type brand, but they'll be manufactured the same place Huggies and Loves are made, and we'll be able to sell them for a fraction of that, $54. In fact, you'll probably be able to buy them for $54, use 25 or 30 Z-Bucks and pay the rest in cash. So if you could get your diapers for under $20, that'd make it substantial. That's one dual spend. It's not just diapers. It's not just things you buy in the grocery store. It's all types of products, from Airstream camper trailers to Nike shoes to golf clubs to perfume to everything you can imagine. And we're just going to continue to grow that out. And a lot of people scratch their head and say, why are you able to do this and have this kind of savings? We just know how to reach in behind the e-commerce and a wholesale distribution and be able to get your products at a much, much better price. And primarily that's because of the way this company's been structured. It's for the benefit of its cards members and its digital branch offices. And that's where we're going to put it. This company's never going to be up for sale. The second way that we redeem those Z-Bucks in that Z Club is we have what we call flash sales. So we'll bring MacBook Pro computers, Ray-Ban sunglasses, all types of products, K-Tech blenders, all those types of products. So a PowerBook sells for about $2,200. We'll sell it for the same $2,200, but your cash isn't good on a flash sale. It's Z-Bucks only. So you'll have to actually spend 2,200 Z-Bucks. And then the third and final way that we redeem our Z-Bucks is we've got what we call Z-Trips. Everything from a cruise. We've already got engaged with a cruise line. We're going to be doing a cruise next year about this time. And basically you'll be able to get on the boat and pay for your boarding ticket with nothing but Z-Bucks, and same with resort destinations. So those are the types of things that we put together on the e-commerce side of things. But what we wanted to do is make sure that when people get their choice to pull out a card out of their wallet or out of their purse, this green one is the one that's the value proposition for them, because it doesn't put them in debt. It's a debit card. It's easily loaded, and you swipe and you earn a Z-Buck. Patrick, is there any questions about that so far?
Well, you answered one of them. I think that I had is how big is the marketplace going to be where within the system that we can use, and because obviously Amazon has everything, and comparing the two between us and them, how do you have access to so much product? How soon are you going to be adding in products? Because this, in a very real sense, is only as good as the selection of products and services available.
Very well said, and I'll answer that in a very poignant and direct way. I've been in e-commerce and in wholesale distribution and importing and exporting pretty much my whole career. I'm the individual that actually invented the color change t-shirt. I took a mood ring to the professor of Brigham Young University. I tell you that because that's how I got my start in import-export. Once he put it under microscope and broke it down and said, yep, it's an organic crystal, it rotates on its axis. Do you want a patent? And I said, I don't know how to get a patent. He said, well, I'll take care of that for you. And he helped me get 7 different patents. He also took me to Matsui of Japan, where they were the foremost chemists, experts, that were able to put that organic crystal in state inside a slurry so that it would work on all kinds of things. In fact, the most famous product is Coors Light. The Rocky Mountains turn blue when the beer's cold enough. Derivative of the same technology. I tell you that because part of our t-shirts came out of domestic goods, Fruit of the Loom and Hanes, and the other portion came from imports. And the imports tended to be a better quality and about half the price. Well, once I sold the company, the buyer decided to cut off the imports and just deal with domestics. And one of the importers approached me. This is many, many years ago. I'm 55 years old right now. It happened when I was 23. And he approached me and said, I can get you just about anything. I said, like what? And he said, I don't care. Go to Nordstrom's to pick out something. So I went to Nordstrom's and got a coat, held it up to him very quickly and said, what can you get this coat for? And he says, I guarantee I can get it under 25 bucks. I said, you do that, I'll figure out how to sell them. 2 or 3 weeks later, I get a FedEx package from the Port of LA. We had a half a container on the water. Sure enough, $12.95 is what we paid for not a knockoff and not a second. It was an overrun of Columbia jackets, the exact same jacket that I bought for $150 in Nordstrom's. At that point, I became a wholesale distributor and learned more about it than I ever wanted to, because I had to figure out how to sell those coats. And I ended up taking the second company to ever retail products on the World Wide Web public. I tell you all that because I know a thing or two about import, export, and more importantly, wholesale distribution. And I'm going to tell you right now, Amazon's changed everything in the last 20 years. Everything they've done with Prime and everything they've done with manufacturers and wholesale distributors, they've all become drop shippers. And because we're a closed loop system and a bank, and we answer to our card members, not to shareholders, we don't need to mark them up as much as most retail establishments do. And that's why we're able to get such a great value and have so many products come on. It took 20 years for Amazon to become a rinky-dink, go from being a rinky-dink bookstore all the way to the behemoth that they are now. But it won't take us 20 years. But Rome wasn't built in a day. We'll have tens of thousands and eventually millions and millions of products that you want. Everything from high-end jewelry and furniture and decor and perfume and you name it, we'll have it. Why? Because the manufacturers want to sell to anybody that wants to buy, and all they care about is getting paid and getting paid in a timely manner. And that's what we bring to the table from our side of the table. And we've tied it to the banking institution. Oh, yeah. Peter wants me to bring up the payment terms. Right now, if you go to any major manufacturer that's selling on Amazon for Prime, they're stretched out a minimum of 90 days before they get the cash. So both Walmart and Amazon pay 90 days after the product sells. That's just what they do. And we pay before the club, before anything even ships. So before they even ship it to our client, our card member, the manufacturer, the wholesale distributors already got money in the bank. That's why we're able to get the great deals. That's why we're able to do this. It's because we don't have to take possession of the products or services. Amazon's already done all that heavy lifting for us. We just came in behind, and the speed of money is what makes the difference. Patrick, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That makes a lot of sense. And I know that obviously Amazon is selling at a large markup. I understand our markup's going to be quite a bit smaller.
Yeah, everybody asks me all the time, how are we able to get like 50% off or the diapers? Well, let me just appeal to your logic. When you go into a mall and buy a pair of shoes, is there margins in those shoes? Of course there is. They've got to keep the lights on, they've got to pay their staff, and they want to make a profit. Normally there's a double, sometimes even a triple in all products that you buy between wholesale and retail. And we just don't need the margins, that whole big markup, because we're a banking structure. We mark it up slightly. So every time a Z-Buck's earned and every time one's redeemed, our company gets paid for the benefit of the members to improve the overall system that we put out here. I keep saying that because you got to understand, when we put this together, we both looked at each other and said, so what do we want to do? And we talked about, do we want to actually liquidate this and get bought by a great big bank? And the answer was no. Then I got to go do something else. And we're both doing exactly what we're passionate about, and that is the Tranzact Card ecosystem. We want to put into the world a social economic change that's second to none. And that's why we've done what we've done. So we put 90% of the ownership of Tranzact Card in trust for the benefit of the card members. And that's just what we've done. That other 10%, some of it's between the two of us and then the management team that's helping make this happen. But the vast majority of the ownership, up to 90%, in fact, over 90%, is actually held in trust for the benefit of its members, the card members.
That's great. So Peter, do you mind telling us a little bit about your background? We heard a little bit about Richard's and his side. I know you're the banking side, and that's a really important piece of this. Do you mind just giving us your history, if you will? And one of the questions I have is, who's funding this? I mean, there are a lot of great ideas that run out of money before they get off the ground. And so how is this established? How is it funded? And who is Peter? And do you say Francie is how you say your last name, or
Rancy?
Francie.
Well, greetings, Patrick, and everyone else on the call. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I've spent nearly 4 decades in the banking world. I'm not a banker. If you ever meet me face to face, I'll tell you that I'm not a banker. But I've spent 4 decades hanging out with bankers, from small outfits to some of the world's top 100 banks, and helping them build their customer product offerings in order to draw billions of funds from other institutions into their institutions. So that's the background in Australia initially, and then in other places. And I've spent the last 10 years in the US, understanding the US community banking system. That's who are our partners in this process. And it's my experience with bankers at the coalface that's enabled us to put the banking piece, the Visa card and interchange fees that make the whole system flow. So Richard's the champion of the e-commerce platform. I'm the champion of the banking platform, and it's my banking experience and network that allows us to put the rails underneath the e-commerce platform.
So speaking of rails, what rails are these cards being processed on?
Visa.
Maybe explain what rails are.
Yeah. Well, I use rails in a general term, but in the payment processing world, rails has a specific term, and we're using the Visa rails. We are deliberately Visa rather than MasterCard. In some ways, they're both the same, but Visa's a bit larger and a bit more innovative. That suits what we're trying to accomplish. And as we get ready to grow globally down the track, not for the next 2 or 3 years, but Visa is a better platform to explore the whole world. And by the way, you can tell that I don't have a US accent. So how come I'm an expert on US community banks? Well, that's a long story, but the short version of it is that when I first moved over from Australia to the US, I looked for a champion of US community banks and partnered up with Terry McEwen. He's an African American, an expert on banking. He was the director of banking for the state of New Jersey from 2006 to 2010. So he's expert on the regulatory side, but he's also built banks and turned around banks. And he and I together have been in dozens of banks at the coalface, looking at their needs and their weaknesses and their strengths, and that's the segment that I chose to work with. So Terry's currently the president and CEO of a minority bank, and as we expand our banking hub, we'll be working mainly with minority banks in the US to support that social impact element of our enterprise. That is the underbanked, the unbanked, and those whose incomes are limited. We want to change their buying power.
That's one of my favorite things about this, you guys, the fact that we're working with the minority-owned banks, the community banks. And this project, if you all understand this, we're not working with the Chases and the Bank of Americas and the Wells Fargos. these are small local community banks that can funnel some of these deposits, a large portion of the deposits from the larger banks to these smaller ones. I have heard people ask, are they going to stand for it, and are they going to step in and try to squash us like a bug? And how do we avoid that?
So that's a good question. That's a fair question. The answer is that they won't take any notice during these early stages, and by the time they do take notice, it'll be too late for them. And there's one other relevant fact that I forgot to mention. I'm a co-founder of an organization called the United States Bankers Association. So go figure that someone with an Aussie accent is a co-founder of the United States Bankers Association, but that's a fact. And we've got about 50 member banks at the moment and are growing that. And the entire objective of that whole association is to give new clout to the community banks who are getting either eroded or gobbled up by the major banks.
We like to think, at least I do, I like to think of ourselves as the equalizer for those smaller banks. The big banks have two advantages that the smaller banks don't have, and that is access to the FID window to prop up their tier one capital. And the second thing is Madison Avenue. They just pencil whip a great big check and buy ad space and come up with programs to bring in new depositories and new clients. We like to feel like what we're doing with our digital branch offices, our influencers, and a host of other ways that we're going about getting cards into our ecosystem, that we're an equalizer for those smaller banks. Peter looks at them a little bit more like a commodity, those banks, because the one thing we need is the fact that they're a bank and their transfer license, as well as their FDIC insurance. And I look at it as kind of the Robin Hood, that we're bringing good people with good hearts and souls to small banks that want to take care of them, is kind of how we both look at it. So
Patrick, I've got a conflicting meeting coming up shortly. I don't want to shortchange this group though. So if you or the team have any questions that you want to ask of me before I've got to exit, then let's jump in.
Sure. There's some questions coming in the chat. One is, how soon is this going to be available globally, not just nationally? I know we're focused on domestic initially. You can use the card anywhere Visa is accepted, but how soon will the business side be available globally? And then also people are asking, how soon can we see what's actually in the product lineup? Do they have to be a DBO first? Is there a way to look at that? Those are two of the questions I've seen here.
So let me answer both of those. One, the international horizon, in a 5-year plan, it's inside it, but in a 2 to 3 year plan, it's outside it. So we're going to make sure that the US base is solid before we go looking elsewhere.
Right.
Second, no one can look inside at the moment, including potential DBOs or existing DBOs. But on May 20th, that event that you mentioned, we'll announce the first release of that with X number of products in it, and then it will keep expanding from there.
Right.
Just to let you know, as far as a world expansion, I'm kind of the holdup, not the banking side. I don't want to roll this out to the world unless we can have somewhat of the same experience with the Z Club that we're going to have here domestically on a global basis. It just doesn't seem like the prudent right thing to do with what we're trying to do. So I've got to get my act together on drop shipping products on a global basis. Peter will be able to move much quicker on the banking side of things, but we're going to do it right. There's no reason to rush to this. Let's do it right here in America, prove up the model, and have a bunch of Americans doubling their purchase power, and then we'll take it around the world.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Speaking of drop shipping, one of the biggest appeals to people with Amazon is obviously the Prime membership and free shipping. How do we compete with that with the Tranzact Card?
I'm going to answer this in a very blunt way. Would you rather have free shipping, or would you rather have the cost of the goods be half of what? So you could buy a laptop for $2,500 or get it for 2,500 Z-Bucks and pay $12 shipping and handling. Which one's a better value proposition?
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer. I do have to go, Patrick. Anything else quickly before I exit?
Oh, thank you.
Richard's here for
the duration.
Thank you, Peter. We really appreciate it. We're excited to work with you on this, and I'm sure we'll get to know each other better.
Patrick and team, look forward to meeting you all face to face. Thank you.
Thank you much.
Yeah.
So let me answer that also a second way. Most of the manufacturers and wholesale distributors have had to build in prime pricing anyway, because they've been eating the shipping anyway. So a lot of our products will be nominal shipping, if not free, just like Prime, because they've already got it built into their model to deal with Amazon. In fact, it was kind of interesting. I talked to a major golf manufacturer. In fact, they're owned by Adidas. So they got mad at me the other day for dropping their name so much, so I'm going to stop. But Scott Stiltson's over the Amazon account for this golf equipment manufacturer. And basically what he said to me was, Amazon's forced us to be a drop shipper, and they forced us to carry inside our pricing structure, shipping and handling. So they alone will, everything you buy from them inside the Z Club, there'll be no shipping charges whatsoever. I'm not going to say that that's going to be unified across the board, but it seems like they're the ones that are going to get a lot of traction when you can buy it with a buy down of Z-Bucks plus get free shipping. Seems like it'll be a winner.
Absolutely. One question we were asked is if the card can be white labeled or the DBOs, and that's one of the things that actually appealed to us, is the way you're bringing on influencers. They're branding their own Visa card. And I mean, maybe the two of the biggest are the Republican National Convention and the Democratic National Convention. You took it to Trump, and then he took it to Obama, from what I've heard.
That's exactly right.
It was really smart, because whether you like Trump or Obama, it doesn't matter. But he said, if we don't both support this, then one of us is going to kill it, right? And so that's pretty significant. I think it's actually a great example of trying to cross the aisle and work together maybe on something. But these major influencers like LeBron James and Garth Brooks and some very large churches, the RNC, the DNC, that's a really interesting piece to this, because not only is it giving it more and more credibility, but there's also this element, everybody, if you haven't seen this, where you can earn match enrollments. So if you share it with, let's say you become a digital branch office, you share this with someone, for every one you get, the company's going to give you one of these house leads. Very quickly, you can go to 5 to 1, 10 to 1, 25, all the way up to 100 to 1. Literally, if you brought on a church or an association or someone with 1,000 members, the company would give you 100,000 house leads. And that's the geometric progression of that is mind-boggling, Richard.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's not just a lead. It's actually a house account. So LeBron James was a fascinating one, and I'm the one that took the call. So I'll tell you that story. I like telling the stories because most people can start to relate with, wow, this is something big here. So it was about 18, 19 months ago, I talked to LeBron James. Talked to him by myself, just him and I, and one of his agents. And basically, he told me the story about what he did with Twitter. He calls his followers on Twitter his peeps. So at the time, he had 25 million peeps or 25 million followers. He tweeted out a 2-for-1 Domino's pizza and sold over $13 million worth of pizza with that one tweet. They gave him $1 million and they made $13+ million. And it was a very successful Twitter campaign. Once he fully understood and grasped what we were doing with the Tranzact ecosystem and the fact that he could have his face on that card. Now, granted, we're not just going to let anybody have their own card, their own face on their card. Somebody that's got 10,000 or more clients, yeah, we'll go through the rigmarole to get approve with the banking structure and with Visa to have a branded card. So yes, that's a possibility. But he came in and said, all right, I want to call mine the championship card and I want to tweet it out. And let me get this straight. I'm like, okay, LeBron, what? Every time somebody swipes, I get paid. I said, yeah, 10 basis points. You're going to give me 1/10 of what interchange pays back. I said, not 1/10, 10 basis points. He's like, that's a lot of money. I said, it can be. And he goes, no, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, it can be. And he goes, and you're going to pay me that forevermore? And I said, yes, we are. And he's like, can I move my merch into your Z Club? And Patrick, I'm like, merch, what the crap is he talking about? He was talking about his merchandise. So he's got his
swag
and swag. He's got his swag, and he's going to discontinue it with all the retail establishment and the wholesale distributors that he's been dealing with and move it into our Z Club so that his peeps can swipe the cards, get a better discount than they can get anywhere else for his merchandise. He'll make a bigger margin. Everybody's happy. Plus, he kept going back. Now, if they go to Disneyland and they swipe the card, I'm getting paid. I said, yes, LeBron, you're getting paid. He goes, this is the most incredible thing in the world. Well, that was, like I said, 19 months ago. And just a couple of weeks ago, I got a call from his executive secretary saying, where are we with this thing? I said, you need to go talk to your people because your agents and your attorneys keep slowing down the deal. Anyway, she's going to get on it. We'll see what happens. But every person that we've talked about or let you know, we're either in full contract and doing it with them, or we've got a letter of intent and we're doing it with them. So the answer is we're bringing the clients. The way we want you to look at our Tranzact Card ecosystem is more like a franchise, and we will be a franchise down the track here. Takes a process to get through it, and less like a direct sales or a multi-level. Even though we pay multiple levels of digital branches, we pay you from people swiping their card. It's a totally different model than anything you've ever seen before. You get paid cash every time somebody earns a Z-Buck going down the track. So you get paid just like LeBron will get paid. And that's what's got such appeal to this is not only do you get to go out and take the contacts on your cell phone and your Twitter feed and your social media feeds, but every time you bring a client, we're going to match you with one of our influencers, just like McDonald's does, or just like Crumble does, or just like Subway does. They advertise for and behalf of their franchisees. That's what we're doing. We're just doing it we're not writing a letter or a check to Madison Avenue. We're actually using influencers, paying them and paying you because you're the digital branches.
Yeah, it's one of the pieces of this, guys, that just blew our minds, because there's been a lot of affiliate opportunities out there, a lot of direct sales opportunities, and most of them, it is your efforts, maybe a little bit of help from your recruiter, your upline, your sponsor, your mentor. But for the most part, you are on your own. But Tranzact Card has created this opportunity for us to literally, in a sense, partner with some of the largest influencers in the world and benefit from their brands and their efforts in the process. And we have to do our part. The more we share. If you become a DBO and you share it with 3 other DBOs, not only do you get a $500 bonus immediately, but you also move to the next level where now you're getting a 5-for-1 match. And so if you haven't seen that, we can send out the information on that afterwards. You can see the breakdown of it. But that is a game changer when it comes to affiliate sales or word of mouth marketing. I've never seen it before, Richard. I know you've been in this industry in the e-commerce and direct sales for some time. You've never seen it before, right?
No, there's never been a company that I'm aware of that actually treats you just exactly like a franchise and brings customers to you and matches them up that way. When I put pen to paper, when we first started putting this together, I'm like, man, if we could get just 5 and TCMs to every DBO, we're going to blow the doors off of what gets paid out in the organization. Well, come to find out, when we start matching things up, we're going to have 25 and 31. So the monies that are going to be made are phenomenal. It's phenomenal for an individual with just their digital branch, and the fact that you get a franchise, your franchise. Would you rather have one Starbucks or 4? Would you rather have one McDonald's or 20? It's a very simple mathematics. You don't have to pay for them. You assist other people to get them, but you make the exact same money of the digital branches that are below you as you do on your own. And we did it that way for a certain purpose. The 10 basis points is phenomenal. We're the only institution on the planet, banking institution, that shares an interchange. That is the most guarded, kept secret with the banks, because that's where all their cash flow comes from, is the interchange. It gets paid to them from everybody that swipes. The merchants pays those merchant fees, and the issuer of the card gets the lion's share of them. We get them, and we're sharing them with the digital branches. And I get asked over and over again, are you paying us in Z-Bucks? No, we're paying you cash. The Z-Buck is the reward system for your clients swiping the card.
Right. As we looked at this, there's 3 things that stood out to us. The first was this, well, first, even before the match from the influencers, really was the fact that you don't have to buy anything that you're not already buying, right? People are taking part in this, participating in this, and benefiting from it by buying their gas and buying their groceries and doing everything they already do. They just have to change the card they pay for it with. Secondly, the fact that this influencer piece of it could multiply the benefits to you in a way that I've never seen before in 30 years in business. And then lastly, as you look at the compensation plan, you become a DBO, it's $495 to become a digital branch office. Go and share it with 3 other people, and they immediately refund that $500. You actually make $5.
Yep.
And we did that in their first day. It's not hard to do. But then on top of that quick launch, quick recoupment of your investment, the levels that you can achieve as you go up from there are not that difficult. It's not this plan that's going to take you 2 years to get through, or you have a 5-year plan hoping to get to the highest level. You could literally do it in a matter of days or weeks. And so that's a really important point, I think, because as you said, Richard, you're paying out the lion's share to the field. You and Peter and your managers, you're keeping a small percentage of. Now it's going to be a pretty big pot when all is said and done, but it's a small percentage of the overall payout. And that says a lot about you and your partners and how you're approaching this whole business as a way to organically give back to the communities and give back to the people. And so any more thoughts on that, or any questions out there, guys, about that comp plan and how it works?
Let me just put in this. We're a social impact enterprise. What does that mean? We're structured much like a charity, with not being a charity. We're for profit, but we act like a duck, we quack like a duck, and we fly like a duck, and we walk like a duck. What does that mean? We created this by having all the ownership and trust for the benefit of the card members. Listen, we're talking about just one aspect of a banking institution, a debit card. Most banks offer a credit vehicle, a credit card. Are we going to have that? Yep. We just want to make sure it's cheaper than anybody else out there, so that you're not paying 27% APR interest on your money. I mean, talk about smoke and mirrors. We'll give you 2% cash back, but you're getting charged more than 2% monthly interest on those purchases you've made. I mean, you're basically, the first month you're back to zero again on the cash back part of that.
Right.
Secondly, we wanted to create something that will truly create wealth for individuals. If you actually engage with us and get involved and become a manager, just do that. Go get 3 people, get refunded your money, and then lose your life in the betterment of others and help them get their money back. At that point, you now have a total of 12 digital branches underneath you, because your 3 went and got their 3. That's 9. You add it all together, you've got 13 branches that are now working. You go sign people up and we start matching for you 5 to 1. So what does that do for you? Well, we're trying to get you to a full-time income. Well, what does a full-time income look to you? I don't know. it's all over the board. To me, I want you all to make somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000 a month. That's a full-time income for me. Can you do that on as little as 13 digital branches? Yeah, but it's even easier if you help those 9 get their 3, which is now 27. Now you got 36 branches you're working with, and it just becomes much, much easier because you get paid on every swipe on your entire community of branches and their card members. And that's the leverage that we place in this. And we pay out 1.3% of every interchange back to the field. So we divide it up amongst 10. LeBron needs his chunk. You guys get your chunk. And that's just how we've done it.
Incredible. One of the questions that I've seen come through is do we actually interact with the community banks? Do we choose a bank we're working with? Is there any sort of interaction or relationship with these minority?
It will be down the track as Peter puts this together. Like he told you, he's working with a little over 50 minority and small banks. Eventually, we're going to get to the point where you're going to get a choose. Right now, we put you where we're going to put you. We do treat them a little bit like a commodity right now. And the reason we do that is because we do all the heavy lifting for and behalf of these small banks. Some of them are still working on their computer system and they're still using DOS. We have to go in and recalibrate their entire computer system so that we can even bring the customer with everything we've got going off with the Tranzact card. So it's a working process, both sides. I look at my world as dealing with the digital branches and the card members, and ultimately our customers are the card members. Peter looks at it more like, yep, they're our customers, but the small, the medium, minority-owned banks are our real customers, and we service them. It gives them such a competitive advantage. The fact that Power Savings goes into Tier 1 capital and the clients is a depository in those small banks. You can't even know what we do to a small bank when Tranzact comes into their ecosystem.
Oh, it's a game changer for them.
Yep.
You could even say a godsend, right?
It could.
Many of them are struggling. We know small businesses struggling. Many of the smaller banks are struggling. They're FDIC insured, but they need help. And so it's one of my favorite things about this. If I had to add one more to the 3, the 4th is that this can, in fact, help strengthen our local communities, our local banks, our local businesses. So can a small business become a vendor, and what does that look like? They sign up as a DBO?
Yeah, in fact,
their clientele, or how does that work? Just for everybody.
I really like to table this until after the 20th because we've got some new products that are going to come that a businessman that's, let's say he's a cabinet maker and he's got 40 employees and he wants to get involved and make payroll on the Tranzact card. There's going to be a way for them to do it in a very, very easy way. They're going to get paid and you'll get paid by bringing that company on board or a payroll company. Let me table that until after the 20th when we roll out some of those new products. That's kind of an in-between a TCM and a DBO. And once the whole tapestry is unveiled, you guys will go, oh, now it makes sense exactly what you want us to do and how you want us to go about this.
Right. So what if an influencer, maybe it's a large church or a nonprofit, a business, what if they want to brand a card? Is there a cost involved? What is that?
Not a
number of cards or what?
There's not a cost to them. We're not going to charge them. We're not going to say this is what your cost is. There is a cost to us. Getting them approved from Visa is a costly endeavor. But basically what we've done is, hey, you can have your own personal branded card if you'll make the commitment of 10,000 cards. So that really limits it. A payroll company probably won't be able to do that. But at the end of the day, does it really matter if it's the green card or their card, depending on what they want to do? But that's what we've done, and we kind of stuck with that because there's a lot of paperwork to go through to get a branded card. And so we've kind of stuck at the 10,000 mark, but we'll work with any institution. And when we roll out these new products, you'll understand what we're doing. So
What if we have a direct connection to a credit union or a local bank that we like? Can we introduce them to Tranzact Card if they're not already?
You can, but that'll all happen through Peter. So I'm not even going to say much more than that. But yeah, he's interested in helping whatever banking institutions that will open up there. We'll open up and take a look at what we bring to them.
So one thing that you'll notice, anyone who's signed up as a DBO, they actually give you 5 cards. So you could give one to your spouse, one to each of your kids if you wanted, one for yourself. One question I had, Richard, I read somewhere that this is designed for personal expenses. It's not designed to funnel your business expenses through. Is that true or not? I mean, I have rent that I pay for our business and our phone bill and our our call service, et cetera. And I pay all those with my debit Visa now.
You can continue to do that, and you just record that as an income expense or an expenditure for on behalf of your business. We've just chosen for right now. There's a couple of banks that have said, "Hey, we want your EIN numbers. We want your businesses." When we get them onboarded into our ecosystem, this will change. But right now, we're taking SSNs, natural persons of America, is who we service with the card. You can do business on your card. You just need to record it and keep track of it, and you and your account work that out. So Patrick,
that makes sense. I did hear that eventually, if we have a business, can we transfer our card into the business name, or would we be opening a second card?
Nope, you'll be able to transfer it into. So you can probably do either one if you wanted to.
So if we sponsor a DBO, here's a question from Joe. If we sponsor a DBO, place them on one of our under one of our DBOs, to go toward they're getting the $500 rebate, or do they have to sponsor their own 3 DBOs? I think I'm going to consider that, but
Patrick, I think I got that one. Let me just answer it this way. There is a placement tool inside the back office. When you place, so you personally, let's say Patrick personally sponsored Richard Smith. Richard Smith enrolled. I enrolled on Patrick's link. I am Patrick. He can then place me anywhere he wants in his organization. Patrick, if you wanted to, you could take digital branch in a straight line. You'll get paid on all of them 10 levels deep and all their customers. The only thing that it doesn't do, it doesn't help the person that you placed them under to position advance. So they're not going to advance to manager or anything else, but they will make all the commissions. So it'll go up through them. So every swipe, wherever you place them, all those DBOs will make the commissions just like you did. And the bonuses, except for the grants. So the grants are every time a manager pops. So every time we rebate back somebody their $500, we pay 10 people $50. Why do we do that? We're serious about getting everybody their money back. You can't become a franchise and not charge anything. That's against franchising rules and laws. And we're going to be a franchise because the banks want us to be. So we had to charge something. And boy, you should have saw the negotiations with me. I was elevated as heck, saying we want the price to be down here because a normal franchise is around $30,000 for the low end. And $500 just doesn't make any sense to the franchise attorneys, but we finally got it through. Why do we give it back when you get your 3? Because I want you to leverage yourself. I want those 3's contacts to be card members. So we're all about making sure we get money back to them. In fact, in May 20th, we're actually going to put out a fast track to profitability. We believe that every DBO within 30 days will be cash flow positive and have all their money back. That's going to be unbelievable in the franchising space. That's never happened before. Normally, they have to project out when you're going to be break even on a Crumble, which is a unbelievable franchise. They're killing it. That cookie company is just doing great guns. Why? Because they can buy the franchise and in a very timely manner, and I don't know exactly what it is, they can be cash flow positive. We believe teach our DBOs to be cash flow positive within the first 30 days.
Wow. That's incredible. Any other questions, guys? Just keep dropping them in the chat. I know you get the 5 cards when you become a DBO. To become just a card holder, not a DBO, but a user, it's a $25 fee for the first year. And after that, it goes up to about $5 a month if somebody wants to continue.
It's $4.95 a month. And if you pay for a full year at a time, you get 2 months free. So it's $49.50 for a full year. And every time somebody re-ups for a renewal, just like your Prime membership, your Costco membership, or your Sam's Club membership, the only difference between us and them is, you're buying membership into the Z Club, but we give you 500 Z bucks.
Right. That's right.
So we're always going to give them 500 Z bucks. So every time your customer renews, they're going to give us $49.50. We're going to give them 500 Z bucks. Well, then next week we have a flash sale and they go buy 2 pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses because they happen to want them. They just spent 240 Z bucks for their 50 bucks. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Why did we do it this way? We had to charge something again for the membership. That membership fee is important to us. And giving them a Z-Buck, it's great because when we launch in fall, you're going to see why you want us to give them Z-Bucks, and you're going to love it. So I'm only going to tease you with that, but just know this. Every single one of the banking products that we're going to roll out. So we're starting with the debit card. We're going to get a credit vehicle. We're going to do car loans, competitive with your credit unions. The only difference is when they make an on-time payment with us for their $500 for their brand new Toyota pickup truck or whatever, when they make their on-time payment, they're going to get a dollar for dollar Z-Buck for their payment. Well, we're issuing them Z-Bucks.
Wow.
Every time we issue Z-Bucks with the card, don't we pay you? We're going to pay you on their car payment as well.
Wow.
LeBron James is not going to get that. He just brought the customer as the advertisers. Only the DBOs are going to get that. And then the long-term prospects, and every time I bring it up to Peter, he just grins at me. I said, okay, we got to take on mortgages. 30-year mortgages, the fact that you have to pay for your house 4.5 times is robbery. And he just smiles, winks at me, and says, let's get it down to less than 2%, or 2 times. And so we'll see what happens there. But card members are going to be able to get a mortgage much, much cheaper than the going rate right now. Can you start to see what financial momentum is all about? It's all about taking care of us and our customers. That's what we're doing here.
That's incredible, Richard. I had no idea about the car and the possible mortgages, and I'm sure there's other things that will come.
There it is.
So we're coming up on our hour here. I don't want to keep everybody longer. We really appreciate your time. Couple quick questions about the event on the 19th and 20th. It's in Park City, Utah. I know the seats are filling quickly. I've enrolled, and it says you're on the list, but I didn't get a confirmation email that I saw. As I just want to make sure that are there seats still available? And
there are seats available.
We're for sure on the list.
Please register, and it's going to be managers first and everybody else second. I think we're going to fill this with managers. So please get your 3. Let us give you your money, your reimbursement back, and come to the event. You'll be able to say, I was there when this thing was launched. And that story is going to be something that'll be priceless to you. And to be there, hear from Peter, myself, hear from some of our council, hear just what you're in, how this is you've got a little bit of a blueprint, but we're going to get more in the mechanics of this. We want people to be proud of what they are. If you're a digital branch office, you should be proud of that. We fully expect that to cap it, a big chunk of our people. You're like, cap? Yep, we do have a cap. We're going to make sure you don't make more than Jamie Dimon, if that's okay. Jamie Dimon makes $24 million a year. So we're going to cap you at $2 million a month.
Yeah, if you can't live on that, you're doing something wrong, right?
Yep.
So on that conference, I heard part of it's a tour of the home office, and then there's going to be conference parts. Can you break that down at all?
We're going to just have you come here, meet and greet this staff. see where we operate, and then we'll send you on your way. There'll be some finger foods here to eat. You'll get a visit with John McKill, myself, Peter, Barbie. The whole staff will be here. We'll answer questions and just kind of mix and mingle so you can see, wow, I've been to the home office and I know what it looks like. And then Saturday morning, we'll be up bright and early at Hotel Park City, which was a property that Peter owned. He actually sold his part of his ownership to do this with Peter and I. He sold to do this. He liquidated his 2 hotel properties to do Tranzact Card, which is a big sacrifice. And it kind of takes my breath away, but we both, you ask who's funded this, it's been Peter and I. So we don't have any debt structure to speak. It's been the executive team and Peter and I that's put it together to this point. So.
Well, I'll just end by saying this, guys, and thank you again for your time, Richard. You know, me and my partners, we're starting to share this with some big influencers, some big groups we have, and the response has been almost unanimous. John McKillop talked about this last week. Eric Allen has talked about this. I mean, you're doing meetings and literally 100% of the room is onboarding. Not necessarily every time, but anyone who's done any sort of franchise opportunity or affiliate opportunity, usually it's 5% or 10% who listens to your product, your program, and comes on board. And those percentages are flipped on their head with this opportunity because it's such a no-brainer. And we're very intrigued by it. This is a great addition to what we do as a profit consulting firm. And I love having a product I can share with the guy I meet at the gas station, the girl at the grocery store, the person on the plane or whatever. It's great having a product that can really bless people's lives. So,
thank you, Patrick. I hope we answered the questions your group was looking for. Let me close with these 2 things. If you're going to sign up as a DBO, do whatever you can to get your reimbursements. Start with the 3 branches and then lose your life in the betterment of others and assist them to do the same thing. Then enroll everybody you come in contact as a Tranzact Card member. And you do that, you're going to have some great success. This is all about making you the new face of banking. And people go, what do you mean making me the new face of banking? Well, sometimes bigger is not better. I've been telling a story a little bit about me losing my dad's hammer and going down to Kolob Lumber, downtown Springville, Utah, to replace the hammer, and going in and talking to Chip Reynolds as an 8-year-old and signing my name, and it scared me to death to bring back the hammer that I lost back to my dad, the new one. Go try to do that in a Home Depot or a Lowe's. Sometimes bigger is not better. I didn't even have any cash. I just went in there, signed my name on my dad's account. The guy knew me. There's something about knowing people that makes a big, big difference in defaults and a bunch of other things. Now, when I bring that up, a lot of people get scared. Ooh, I'm going to be on the hook. No, you're not. When you go into a bank, that teller's not on the hook for anything that happens in the bank, nor will you as a digital branch. But them knowing you makes all the difference in the world to us. The statistics prove it out. And that's why the banks love what we're doing, is because there's a face. And you're not going to have to be an expert banker, but you at least can tell them how to spend their Z-Bucks, for heaven's sakes.
Well, we're big fans of reciprocity, and anything we can do to strengthen our communities, strengthen our families and our businesses. And I can't think of a better product than this to do exactly that. So we really appreciate the chance to be a part of this. Richard, thanks for your time today and for what you have and are putting together here. I need to get you on my radio show, Finding Certainty, and we'll blast it out to Voice America's listeners and story on a larger scale. So we are recording this call, guys. I'll send out the link. So if you know someone who missed it, or if you have a friend or a family member, I'll put both the links, the one from the presentation, so you can see the full PowerPoint, as well as this Q&A with Richard, and hopefully between the 2, we'll answer your questions. If not, join us on Tuesdays or Thursday nights, and keep on coming back. We're here to help. So
thank you so much. We'll jump off now.
Have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.
Well, there was definitely a lot of information there, wasn't there, Les? So you sure do make sure that your time is well spent. Your off time with some of these some of this. We did have one person who had a question about just the struggles with smaller banks, and they have the concern that, you know, what if they get involved in this and one of the, you know, Chase banks wants to come in and buy them out?
Well, first off, if you caught it, Richard said 90% of the ownership is in a trust to the benefit of the DBOs. And so a trust can't be bought like that. That's the reason he did it, to completely protect it. The founders only own 10% of it. So it's completely protected against that. And the other thing, of course, is I thought what they were talking about was if the money disappeared, it's FDIC insured.
Right.
And I doubt
that's an important fact as well, you know, just because you need to make sure that, hey, if you're putting money in, there's going to be money that comes back.
Exactly. And I doubt if they'll have 250,000 in there to purchase things with. And especially since, you know, every dollar they spend, at the first year they get 2 Z-Bucks. After that, it's 1. And so, that's the one thing that's great about it is it's really going to double the buying power and force retirement savings. Because everybody talks about, financial advisors tell us all the time that people can't figure out how to put stuff in retirement. Well, there's 3 different ways that we put in retirement. And so especially people on low income and so forth, in minimum wage. Now, I will say in Colorado, minimum wage is $18 an hour. So it's really not minimum wage anymore. But some of the workers and so forth, they still, if they have families. So it's a forced savings account. And so it's pretty neat there for employers that really want to help. In fact, the fantastic thing about employers is, of course, they're going to have much more Z-Bucks, because if they spend 25,000, they have 50,000 in Z-Bucks. And so they can have employee parties. The top employee gets maybe 1,000 Z-Bucks in their account. And if it's a sales force, let's say a cruise, the top salesperson gets 500 Z-Bucks toward the cruise, and the next 2 gets 2,000. And so the sales forces are really going to be able to do a lot with this. It's for creative people, it has no end.
And so in all actuality, this is really close to a cashback program, but the cashback is with all those wonderful merchants that you were talking about earlier, right?
Correct. Yep. Every time you buy from them, there will be cash back. And every time you spend a Z-Buck, there's 1% that goes into cash. So.
Okay. Sounds great. Well, Les, I want to thank you for introducing us to this. They can find out more information at 3waystobanking.com. Once again, that's 3waystobanking.com. Or, of course, you can always just get a hold of Les in any of his other ways, right?
Yep. 303-579-6881 cell phone. And the email is les@3waystobanking.com. All
right. Well, Les, thank you very much for everything. Another great show. You're almost a natural at this, my friend. So, but I greatly appreciate it, and we will see you next month.
Sounds good. Have a good evening.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Bye. Again, that was Les Simpson. I want to thank him so very much. I mean, once again, his phone number 303-579-6881. 303-579-6881. Look, one of the things that we always say on this is, you got to shop. Why not make your shopping count? This is one way that you can really make sure that, while you're shopping, you can shop for other stuff as well and really take care of your family. I also do want to remind you that Les is a giving partner. Okay, so you can visit Les by going to communitypayitforward.us, type in LES, and Les's name's going to pop up, and you're going to have a way to get a hold of him in any way and every way possible. One of the things that Les is very, very good at and very active on is Les is one of our fantastic bloggers. And every month he drops 1 or 2 new blogs. I would like you to please go and check out his newest blog. And this is about the B3 bands. And his newest one, it's a great blog, and you can find that by going to our blogs. But this is, do you know how game-changing vigorous exercise is in rehab? Again, there is the rehab that they were showing on this is flat out amazing, because there's, I've talked about it many times, and just watching the gentleman get up who could not stand on his own, and he was able to stand up and on his own after using the bands. That's really inspirational to me, because I have a mother who's got some severe mobility issues, and we're trying to do everything that we can do to try to even out the ground so she can walk on the ground and participate with outdoor things. It's it's one of the things that you got to do when you're getting older, and so we do truly worry about her, and we're going to be getting our bands ordered here very, very soon. So I'm really looking forward to that. So again, please go and check out communitypayitforward.us. Do you know how game-changing, vigorous exercise is in rehab? I do. Work out my shoulder all the time, and it's something that I never thought doing the alphabet would be as painful as it is, but boy, howdy is it. So again, one more time, thank you to Les. Another great show, another great month, and I cannot thank him enough for what he brings to our show. He is a platinum partner, and so everything that he does helps us continue our mission. Missions like Footprints Forward. Footprints Forward, again, is our mission, providing resources and sharing stories to support mental health and suicide prevention in a forward direction. Please go to communitypayitforward.us, and right up top on the navigation bar, you will see it right there, Footprints Forward. If you want to go and watch any of the 22-hour podcast, right underneath the Community Mission to Rescue 22, you can watch all 22 hours or just portions of the 22 hours. We're getting ready to start building it up for next year, as a matter of fact. Again, I want to thank all of my family members who are helping me out with this, and everyone who allows us to do this by their support, including Wellness Tech Plus, which is Les. You can watch every episode from week 1 on May Day. May Day, we have a problem, to this last Monday right here. You can watch that one. And coming up this next Monday, we have Sarah Kuko coming with us, joining us again for part 2 of her series, which is
just hilariously called, well, unzip those genes. We are talking about genetics again, so get your mind out of the gutter. Hey, everybody, you know what? That's it. That's all we got for you tonight. I want to, again, sounds great. I guess the one thing I could have asked about is like, you know, in which it sounds like there's still a little ways to go with it, but I think it is kind of one of those things that, you know what? It's encouraging when small businesses come at you and say, hey, do you want to get on the ground floor of this? Do you want to be part of this? Because it gives you a chance. You don't know who's going to be the next Apple. You don't know who's going to be the next IBM. The next Starbucks. I mean, you know, next McDonald's. And think about it. It wasn't even the McDonald's brothers that made McDonald's. One change can really make a huge difference in the world. I want to thank everyone and plead with everyone to, if you can. And I know that we're in a situation, but if you can, the QR code above my shoulder right now, you could throw in a small donation to help us out. We provide free outreach to anyone in need. But to do this, we need your help. A small donation would really, really help us out, maintain the free outreach, because we don't want to charge for things that are donated to us. So please, if you can, make a donation by scanning the QR code above me. Please make sure that you love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. Please make sure that you remember that if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. And the most important thing is, folks, none of us are different. We all bleed red. We're all human. We all get cold. We all get overheated. We all get hungry. Let's take care of each other, because we're all we got. No matter who you are, there is no difference. We're all the same people.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home. Out alone, to show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.